Welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. You know what? When I come to the idea of happy and in love, I come to the conclusion that being happy and being in love is totally different things. All right? Being happy and being in love, right? For instance, if you win the lottery, right? What emotion that usually come out? You're happy that you won a lottery. But are you in love? No. Happy and love is totally two different things. And what people don't understand that is not the same thing, is not interchangeable. Right? Being loved to a person, right? Doesn't mean you're happy. There's a lot of people out there who are in love with each other, but they're not happy all the time. They're in love, but they're not happy, right? In relationships, there are a lot of women who say they're in love, but they're not happy. They don't understand what love is, right? They think being loved equates or correlates to being happy, right? It's totally different emotions. Saying, for instance, if you went to Disneyland, right? Are you happy or are you in love with Disneyland? You're happy you're at Disneyland. You're in love, you're in Disneyland. Alright? Because love is basically exchanging and sacrificing things for another person. Right? When you're happy, that's only for yourself. It's self-benefits. Alright? You're eating your favorite food. You're happy that you're eating your favorite food. But are you in love eating your favorite food? Right? It's two different things. People like to conflate those two things together. And people need to realize that's two different things. Alright? So that's why there's so much misguided when it comes to relationships. It's a trade-off. Alright? In relationship, there's a trade-off. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your happiness to be in a relationship, to be in love with a person. Alright? So you need to trade something off. Like in a relationship, being with somebody, to be in love with somebody, and to be with them, you have to trade things off. Like your time that you made to be happy, to be with your partner. Right? To spend time with each other. Right? Like guys that's in love with a woman, they trade off the things that make them happy, like give up sports just to be in a relationship with that woman. Right? They love sports. Right? I mean, they love sport. Sports make them happy, right? Sports make them happy. But they're in love with their significant other, so they'll trade off sacrificing their sports to be with the other person to make them happy, right? But when they're happy, that doesn't mean they love them. That means they're just happy. It's two different emotions that we're dealing with here. People don't know how psychology works. This is basic psychologies, right? It's just emotion. People don't learn how emotional works, right? So being loved and being happy is totally different things. And people need to get that out of in their head. Right? Like loving, you have to sacrifice your time, make an effort, let things go, right? Because of that, you can't love a person. So, people like to conflate those two together. If a girl are in love with me, right, she have to sacrifice her time, sacrifice the thing that make her happy. Put in makeup, go shopping. Those are things that make them happy. But when they go shopping, do they love it? No, love is totally different things. Love is affections you show to other people, right? It's not like happy. You can't show happy to other people. I mean, you can show that you are happy in front of people, but you can't show to people that you're in love with them, right? Being in love with a person, yet is an offering, giving your time to other people. That's what it is. You can't give happiness to people. You can't make people happy, right? What's happiness? Happiness is a satisfaction, right? You're satisfied that you ate lunch. You're happy now. You're satisfied that you finished your homework. You're happy now, right? You're satisfied that you finished your game that you played. You're happy now. Right? You're not in love with the video game that you're playing, right? Because love is showing affections. Love and happiness are two different emotions, right? Happy is more like joy. You're joyous. You're happy, but because if you're joy, does that mean you're happy? You're in love? No, because when you're joy is a singular activity, right? When you're joyful, it's just you. Right? But when you love somebody, it involves another person. That's the difference, right? When you're in love, you're devoting time, devotions, affection, right? Caring to another person, right? But when you're happy, it's just self-describing yourself, your current state of being. You're joyful, you're happy, I'm content, right? And that's what people don't understand. Sometimes you gotta trade off your happiness, what you enjoy the most, to be with that person that you love. It's totally different things. People need to examine it. They need to analyze that it's two different emotions, right? So when a woman said, "Oh, this make me happy," that's basically a selfish response, all right? That's basically a selfish response. That means you don't show anything for the other person. You don't show any compassion for the other person's well-being, right? Or respect the other person's. So next time, realize that happiness is a trade-off. Is a trade-off. It's not trade-off. It's a singular thing. It's a singular activity. All right. That whatever satisfies you. So it's two different things. But I'm just seeing people just misuse that term a lot. They're in love. Most people don't even know what love is. Most people are struggling to identify what love is. Most person have never been in love. No, most person, right, don't even know the definition. Right? You have to love is sacrificing your time, making compromise, right, to a person, to another person, or another thing. All right, that's what love is. So just because you're in love, that doesn't mean you're happy, right? There's a lot of people who are in love, but they experience multiple emotions than when you're being in love. Right? When you're in love, you're experience other emotions like depressions, empathy, sympathy, right? Compassions, all that stuff when you're in love. But when you're happy, you're just happy. You're happy, you're satisfied, you're content, you're fulfilled. Right? That's what happiness is. And they like to confuse or conflate those two together, happiness and love. So because you're in love doesn't mean you're happy, right? Because there's a trade-off there. But, people need to understand how this word came about and understand the definition of this word. Understand the etymology, understand what true happiness is. Happiness is basically you're achieving your goal, basically. You're achieving your goal, you're at your goalpost, and you're happy because you accomplished something. When you're in love, you're willing to commit to somebody. Put off your own selfishness for somebody else. That's what it is. You're not being selfish. That's when you're in love. You think about other people than yourself. When you're happy, you think it's just only yourself. Right? It's not that complicated. It's not that hard to understand. Right? Sure, there might be a gray area where being in love leads to happiness, but it's totally two different things. Right? But if being in love would make you happy, that's when you include each other. Right? It's a symbiotic relationship. Right? You could be happy, content. If being in love makes you content, that's what it is. But don't negate the fact that there's two different things. Right? You can't say you're eating a potato chip make you happy. Does that mean you're in love with potato chip? Right? Does that mean you're affectionate with potato chips? If playing video game make you happy, does that mean you're in love with playing video games? You're in love, right? You're showing compassionate. You're showing emotional devotion to a video game. And if that is, you really evaluate yourself. But that's all I want to say about these things, right? The difference between love and happiness is a trade-off. In order to be loved, you got to trade off your happiness sometime, right? You got to compromise your happiness. Sometimes compromise something that makes you happy just to be in love with a person, right? And you got to take that selfishness away. Because being in love is basically eliminate all selfishness. You cannot think about yourself. Now, when you're in love with another person, you have to bring another person into the equation, right? Another person, another conscious being into your relationship. That's what being in love is. Regardless if your wife, your sister, your mother, your children, your cousin, whatever it is, right? That's what being in love is. Devotion, take time, sacrificing your time, sacrifice your own happiness to be with the person. Alright? But that's all I want to say, People just really misinterpret this thing of happiness and being in love. And people need to realize that it's totally different things. If there's something that I'm missing, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, peace and blessings.